And since these products are always on, the savings can be quite substantial.
Yeah, I mean, in many factories, they're running all day, even all night. So even like a small improvement to the power consumption will have a really big impact.
Hello and welcome to HMS TechTalks. Reducing energy and reducing your carbon footprint is on everybody's lips today, as we have an energy crisis in Europe and a climate crisis looming around the corner. Industrial communication might not be the thing that you think of firsthand when you think about reducing energy and reducing carbon footprint. But as it turns out, there are quite a lot of things to be done by making machines communicate. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's Tech Talk. And we have a couple of HMS experts to talk about that. And first up is Sébastien Thinnes from our E1 business unit.
Hello, Thomas.
Welcome, Sébastien.
Thank you.
So firstly, let's talk about the E1 product. So these guys connect machines to the internet and enable you to do troubleshooting and get data from machines. But as it turns out, this also has some real effect on carbon footprint for the users. Tell us more about that.
So as mentioned, the E1 product enables to do some industrial remote access. So when you do some remote access, you can take some advantage like increase efficiency, reduce cost, but also have a positive impact on sustainability. Why? Because thanks to the remote access, you can reduce the travel, less CO2 produced, so positive impact on the sustainability.
Right, and we've actually done some calculations on this, and the results are quite big.
It's not always easy to assess, but based on our estimation we have made, the calculation on the positive impact is reduce the travel, can reduce the CO2 footprint by about 1 million ton a year. So it's quite huge.
That's quite a lot. And who is it that we're decreasing this traveling for? Who are the people who are usually traveling?
Most of the time it's the engineer. So from time to time you have some issue with your machine, and so when there is an issue, the companies have to send engineer on the factory, so with the travel, and they used to go there to fix the machine. Now, thanks to the E1 product, they can do it from remote, straightly from their place, no travel, and so they can fix the issue, or at least have all the information needed to fix the issue and to don't have to travel to do it.
Right. So both saving time and the travel expenses.
Cost, time, and positive impact on the CO2.
Right. But there are also more effects to gain if you hook up your machine. If you know more about your machine, you can also do a lot of savings, right?
Yes, it's not only the positive impact of the remote access and the reduction of the travel, but it's also the positive impact thanks to the better efficiency of the machine. So we have a lot of data, you can analyze it, you can improve the efficiency of the machine, and so by improving the efficiency of the machine, you can reduce the energy consumed. By example, you can assess this time it was not efficient, I can reduce this on this, I can tweak this on this, and have some energy savings. Energy savings will also mean some CO2 reduction.
Right. If you can't measure it, you can't control it.
Of course, yes.
The saying
yeah, that's the point.
When you talk to customers and users, is this something that they ask for? Is this something that's high up on the agenda today, sustainability gains?
It's becoming more and more important. Of course, the most important impact to them is the cost reduction, less travel, less cost. But the CO2 and the sustainability impact become more and more important. So when you discuss about those solutions with the customer, you bring the positive impact on the efficiency, the positive impact on the CO2, but straightly they talk about the positive impact on the sustainability. I think that it's a common human issue, and so everybody has to take care about this issue, and it's something that it's positive also to them.
It's also a demand from a lot of legislation.
Yes, more and more. So it was not really the case in the past, but it's becoming more and more important.
Right. Excellent. Sébastien, thanks very much for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Our next guest is from our Anybus business unit in Barcelona. David Garcés, welcome to HMS TechTalks.
Thank you, Thomas. My pleasure to be here.
We're going to talk buildings. Buildings are an energy consumer of epic proportions. 40% of the world's energy consumption comes from buildings. We're going to talk about the Intesis air conditioning gateways that allow air conditioning units to connect to building systems. Could you elaborate a bit? What is it that these guys do?
Yeah, as you mentioned, buildings are responsible for 40% of the global energy consumption. That's more than any other sector, more than industry, transportation, or any other sector. And it's not a surprise when you think that we spend like 90% of our time inside a building, either in the office or at home. So it's normal that we consume a lot of energy in the building. And inside the building, the systems that are more energy hungry are the climate systems and the air conditioning systems. That's why it's very important to start with those if you want to save energy in the building. So our AC interfaces enable energy savings by offering smart functionality to the system integrators and to the building automation system in order to do so. For example, we have binary inputs that enable to detect the presence in the room, or if a window is open, and act accordingly, like turning the air conditioning off, for example. Or we can limit the set point of the thermostat. For every degree that you fine-tune, you can save up to 7% of the energy.
7%. Right?
For every degree, so it's important to do so. We also have functionality to implement some schedules, so you can have your opening or closing times of your business, and that way no one forgets to turn the system off when they go. Right. And by doing so, our customers are reporting savings in the range of 20 to 45% of the energy consumption in the building. 20
to 45%, that's quite a lot, especially when you think about the numbers that are involved here with the energy consumption. And these are savings that would not be possible if these air conditioning units were not connected.
Exactly. I mean, the only alternative would be to have a manual control.
Yeah,
but
right.
We are not so good as humans in being accurate and not forgetting things. So that's why we need the technology to control the systems.
Easy to forget, definitely.
Easy to forget.
Yeah. And you've done some calculations here as well. We've seen that we can save up to 500 gigawatt hours of energy per year, or 150,000 tons of carbon dioxide saved. How have you come to that conclusion?
Well, basically, we know for sure how many AC interfaces we have sold over the years. And we estimate how many air conditioning systems are behind those units. We have units that connect one indoor unit, so that's an easy number, but others go up to 128 indoor units. And then we estimate how many really are connected. And then we come up with a number, which is over 1 million air conditioning systems being controlled by Intesis interfaces. Then we take an industry standard of the typical energy consumption of an average air conditioning system, and then we have the total figure.
Right.
And from that total figure, we take 30% as an average of energy savings. As mentioned before, customers report between 20 to 45%, so we take 30% as an average, and that's how we come up to these 500 gigawatt hours that we are saving with our products.
Yeah. Quite a lot just by connecting the air conditioning units, indeed. The last thing I'd like to talk about is trends. Do you see energy savings and environmental concerns as a driver for hooking up air conditioning units nowadays?
Absolutely. I mean, especially nowadays with rising energy costs, this is being more and more important, becoming more and more important. In the past, building automation technology was affordable for larger buildings, and now with the new economics, it becomes feasible as well for small and mid-sized buildings to deploy building automation technology. In the use case of HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, customers also report return on investment in less than 2 years. And that was before the energy crisis. Right. So right now, probably within 1 year, they get the return back.
Right, that's quick. And what type of buildings are we talking about here that's now more eligible for these savings? It's how big are these buildings?
Well, you can think of a hotel, 4 or 5 floors, hotel, or a small office building, or in the retail sector, small shops and small businesses. They are deploying now a lot of building automation technology.
Right, and able to save energy or even get a return on investment within 1 year.
Exactly.
Impressive. Okay. David, thanks a lot for talking to us.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here, Thomas.
Our next guest is Fredrik Brynolf from our Anybus Gateway team, product manager for Anybus Gateways. Welcome, Fredrik.
Thank you, Thomas.
We're going to talk energy savings and what savings are available in our new generation of gateways, because there are quite substantial savings to be made in industrial communication products. But first of all, start us off. What does Anybus Gateways do?
Well, we essentially do 2 things. We help makers extend the reach of their products to new markets and to new verticals without any software or hardware changes to their product. And we also help users to connect islands of automation, to select among best-of-breed machinery, and also to upgrade their factory and still keep working equipment.
Right, so it's both for makers of industrial equipment, getting them connected to different networks, and also the users in the factory, connecting different parts of the factory.
Yeah.
So we're always working with optimizing and making the products better. But when it comes to energy consumption, what are the recent changes in the new gateways compared to the older generation?
Yeah, thanks to recent work done by our engineering team to reduce the lead time of our new products, we have introduced 2 major changes, and that has substantially reduced power consumption. First of all, we have changed some of the key components, and that has helped reduce power consumption. And we also introduced a mode in the processor, so when it's idling, it goes to sleep.
Right.
And that has helped to cut the power consumption in half.
All right.
So this one, the previous generation, is about 200 milliamps at 24 volts DC, and this is 100 milliamps. So that's pretty substantial.
Cutting it in half. Wow. And since these products are always on, the savings can be quite substantial.
Yeah, I mean, in many factories, they're running all day, even all night. So even like a small improvement to the power consumption will have a really big impact. A side note is that if you look on the marking today on the product, it says 160 milliamps. So we haven't been able to change the marking yet,
Okay.
but we will do that with the next update.
Consumes less than it says.
Exactly.
Right. But sustainability is really a mindset when it comes to developing products, and there are gains to be made in many different parts of the product, not just the energy consumption. What are the other enhancements that we've done lately?
Yeah, let's have a look at the box. Simple thing like that. This is for the previous generation, and this is for the new generation. You can almost fit 5 of this in these. So that's a quite substantial saving when it comes to shipping.
Right. And since these are shipped by tens of thousands, it's quite a lot of packaging and transportation going on. Yeah.
It's quite substantial. And then inside the box, we have removed the foam padding that we used in the previous generation. And if we dig further, we have also removed this USB cable that we used to ship. Now instead we have an Ethernet configuration port.
Right.
And Ethernet cables are readily available on all sites, so no need to ship an extra cable.
Right.
And then last but not least, we have substantially reduced the weight of the product. The previous generation weighs about 400 grams.
And is metal in that as well?
Metal housing, 3 cards inside the product. This is obviously plastic housing, a single card. So that's cutting the material needed by 250 grams.
All right. Another small change, but makes a big difference in the end.
Substantial difference.
Yeah. Maybe most importantly is the quality and the life cycle of these products, because they do last for a long time. How long do these keep running?
Well, to understand that, our hardware team uses a simulation model that simulates the lifetime of the product. And using that model, The previous generation lasts 600,000 plus hours. And the new generation lasts 1,500,000 plus hours.
Okay, almost double.
So that's almost double. I mean, I could use such an upgrade.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Indeed. So these just keep on running on the factory floor, and that's of course it's maybe the greatest achievement when it comes to sustainability. You want to do things once and then keep it running.
Yeah.
Fredrik, thanks very much for talking sustainability with us.
Thank you, Thomas.